I got a situationship, so I'm gonna do the best I can to bring you some good information, bring you a decent live. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my disclaimer, and then that way it allows people to come into the room. It normally takes people like 2 or 3 minutes to come in. So welcome, welcome. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know where you're watching from. I appreciate everyone for being here. Press 1 if you can hear me okay. Press 1 if you can hear me okay. Press 2 if it sounds a little muffled. Press 2 if it sounds a little muffled. We're going to get into a few different topics, and we're going to talk Diddy, Kanye, and we're also going to talk Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is mentioning that he attended parties at a young age, stating in an interview he was about, it said 16, alleged 16, 17. And then I remember listening to, like the video, let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me go ahead and do my disclaimer because people are falling in. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Good morning, Paris. Off to a little late start. Oh my goodness. Paris, if you only knew. Okay, so we're going to talk about what transpired because Nick Cannon is speaking out, Bow Wow is speaking out, and Bow Wow is basically saying it's sad the situation that Diddy is in because right now people are not partying. What? Did he read Cassie's case? Does he understand what the indictment is talking about? And you're mad because people aren't partying and it's kind of quiet right now? It should be quiet because the industry has concerns. Hollywood needed to be exposed. The parties need to halt. I listened to a few people. It was yesterday morning. Someone had put out a young lady that attended a party and what she experienced and what she saw. And then she left. She was like, I'm not doing this. And I don't want to drink what y'all got going on. Good morning. Let's see. Yeah, I'm keeping up for y'all. I've been trying. But it's interesting that Bow Wow's speaking out. We're going to find that there's going to be famous people that's going to be general in regards to speaking out. And then we're going to find that people are kind of going to be like, it's so quiet, just like the Bow Wow. And then Nick Cannon in an interview talking about at what age he was at going to the events. Now, in this young lady's interview, she talked about going to the house, seeing what she saw, famous people being there, what she saw outside, what she saw inside was interesting. Alleged being selected by someone that the diddler knows. I'm going to be general. Being selected by the diddler and being asked to come inside. So what she saw out inside was not the same as outside. So it's interesting finding out that people can be selected to come inside and your phone is taken immediately. And she had to retrieve her phone from it being locked up. So they have a whole situationship that goes on. Now, the way she explained it is interesting. And she was like, I told y'all this is what happens. And this is the biggest thing. Some of these famous people are on camera. Some of these famous people were there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and you can't have your bodyguard. So she went with an alleged prince or something, a prince from somewhere.
Watching developments at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
She went with a prince, and what she saw was interesting. What she heard was interesting. And she's grateful that she did not take more of a sip of what was given to the people at the event because it makes you alleged lucid. She was like, they kept saying, hey, you want some more to drink? You want some more to drink? You want some more to drink? And thank goodness she did not indulge in. And then they were talking about them going out of town. And it's almost like it was said to her, yes, I'm choosing her. Yes, I'm choosing her. Making her wear white flip-flops. So it's kind of like you'll know who is a possible selection. Baby, they had a whole situationship of how they did things over there. And trust and believe, all this stuff is caught on camera. These famous peoples, these parties, and it's interesting to hear that some of these, I'm gonna watch what I say. It's interesting to find out the time Diddy is spending with people. I'm gonna be careful what I say. I'm gonna be very careful what I say. Yeah, it's so orchestrated. If you are going over there and then you're talked to and then they give you a pair of white flip-flops and then it's like go inside. And the girl did not want to leave her friend. She didn't want to leave her friend. And I don't know how much the friend took a sip of what was being served. You guys have to be so careful. And this is the biggest thing. When we deal with the indictment, and they said more charges are coming. When they deal with the indictment, these women, you're going to see people saying, I don't want no parts in that. You're going to see women that didn't want to take a lot of sips of that. You're going to see women walking away from that. If you weren't smart enough to walk away, if you weren't smart enough not to drink the drink, and because once you're so intoxicated, you basically don't know right from wrong. So at least she was smart enough to be, and that's the one thing I'm hearing from a lot of people. If you're not a big drinker, thank goodness. You can't bring your own stuff inside. But if you're a big drinker, So, so that was concerning. The young lady in the interview, and she did the interview a while ago, and it's resurfacing. I saw a gentleman do the video, play the video. I want to say either it was late last night, and then everybody else caught on yesterday afternoon. But just to think what could have been. The things she saw, she said she's basically traumatized. And it'll never get out of her mind. She basically was saying, I'm here to do music. I'm not here for this other stuff. And I don't want to be a part of this other stuff. And she said after that, the other thing she mentioned was they required her to write down some of her music and share it with the guy. Let's see what you're working on. Let's see what you're working on. So it's almost like these creative writer people and women and men have to be careful sharing what you worked on because it can be stolen down the road. If you're not under contract, not legal advice, just my opinion. If you're not under contract, I wouldn't give people my writing skills and what I've worked on for, 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't share it. Give them one or two, but never give your whole booklet away. Yeah, and like I said before, a judge, jury will have to find out if there's any wrongdoing, but how they orchestrated things, you're right, Paris, it's all concerning. It's almost like, this person is invited and then they bring people. So that may be where the SA traffic comes in, because maybe some of the women did travel. You see them at one event, and then you see them that they've traveled, and then you have the cameras, and you see them at another event. Yes, hit the like button, everybody, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. Yeah. It's interesting, and what we're going to find out, we're going to see that there's going to be other interviews. There's another interview that I'm seeing that a woman said she had issues in regards to what happened with her and what she saw and noticed. These famous people are shaking in their boots because they literally thought that they could get away with X, Y, and Z. And nobody ever was going to catch a lot of these events, situationships. It's so concerning of what some of these people are saying and what they experienced. And some of them was smart enough not to partake in the alcohol. I have to be general, allege. So concerning. Now, this depiction is like a cartoon animation, but I found it, I saw it, and I wanted to share it with y'all. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So right now, I'm trying to turn on my monetization. I'm trying to turn on my monetization. Man, hearing that young girl's story, there's so many other stories of women that we probably don't even know of. For her to do that interview years and years ago, and it's just now being resurfaced now, man. And for some people to say, oh, he was set up. Set up how? These events were at his house, y'all. Man, I could not imagine the videos they're gonna have to go through. Like I said, years and years of stuff. And then you figure if they find out that a one young lady was at the house and then there was a travel, they have to figure out who that one young lady is because she's traveled. That's the S traffic. Baby, could you imagine getting a call? Hi, this is so and so and so. We see that you were at an event and we'd like to speak with you. You'd like to speak with me about what? Mm-mm. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. There are people that, and that's why there's alleged there was 300 subpoenas that went out. We don't know who was a part of the grand jury. So remember how I said yesterday, some of these famous people are probably under these NDAs. They don't want to get sued. They don't want to get sued, especially if they've been close with him for the last 10 years. Man, 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 man. They do not want to get sued. So I'm going to see. I probably won't play the Nick Cannon's interview. Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you're new. Press 5 if you've been here before. And please, let's get the likes to 100. Press 3 if you're new and where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before. Good morning, Paris. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Your girl is struggling today. And I'm here. Hi, Texas. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm just, I'm going to be okay. So, and like the video, don't forget to subscribe, everyone. Turn on your notification bells. We're going to get to this clip in regards to the court situation so that way people can hear and understand. Then we'll try and get to the Bow Wow situation if I can find it, and we'll get to the Nick Cannon situation if I can find it. I basically told y'all what Bow Wow said. It's kind of quiet and people are sad that there's not parties that's going on. Well, dude, you guys are going to have to find a way to party in a clean way. Period. Period, period, period. Okay, so let's see. We have Texas from Paris. We have South Indiana, welcome. Los Angeles, welcome. No, I'm good. I do a lot of other stuff outside of. I'm chilling on Netflix right now, girl. Yes, I am. I'm chilling on Netflix right now. Just bringing y'all to TTTTT. But yeah. So we're going to play this clip in regards to what the young lady saw because it's almost the same of what this picture is saying. So don't forget, you guys, the video is going to play fast. It's at like 2.00%. So it's going to play fast. Like the video, you guys. Like the video. If I could please get 400 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Press 3 if you're new and where you're chiming in from. Press 5 if you've been here and when you're chiming in from. So let's go ahead and play this clip, because this clip runs true to what's playing in the background. What Diddy's demeanor was, like I said, this is like a cartoon depiction, but let's go with the video.
We just found out when Sean Diddy Combs will face trial on federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. News Source Erica Byfield watching developments at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Erica.
Well, today when we saw him in court, David, he was dressed in prison khakis, a top and a bottom, a far cry from what we're used to seeing him wear. He was fairly animated, blowing kisses to his family members that were seated in the courtroom, and that was just before we heard when that trial date will be. Sean Diddy Combs' trial will start May 5th, 2025, now that the superstar is in federal custody, accused of sex trafficking. The New York-born rapper and producer has pleaded not guilty, but the indictment says that Combs coerced and abused women with the help of a network of his...
Like the video. So this is basically a depiction of what they saw. Someone did an animation. So it's basically like him waving to his family, him wearing the jumpsuit. You know, he was shackled on his feet. So this is the depiction of this. So I'm kind of glad I found it and the clip. So like the video.
And employees while using blackmail and violent acts to keep his victims from talking. Thursday, Combs' family filed into court and then sat in the second row of the courtroom to listen to the status hearing of his case. That is where they learned that the feds have seized 96 electronic devices belonging to Combs, all of them picked up during search warrants of his LA and Miami homes, and ones from him at an airport, and most recently when he got arrested last month here in Manhattan. Prosecutors say technicians are going through them, but they've run into some issues, specifically saying that technology is outpacing the government's ability to extract data. We also found out that this trial should run at least a month. The prosecution saying victims will testify, the defense not saying who it'll call. This afternoon, the defense asked the judge to put a gag order in place after it accused Homeland Security agents of leaking information. A prosecutor then slammed the defense for some comments it's made to the press. The judge signaling he's not opposed to limiting what can be said. When it was all over, Combs turned, stood up, and smiled at his family the way that he always did from the red carpet, this time from the defense table. For now, he remains in custody. He has an application for bail that's in before another judge. We're waiting to hear when that will be scheduled. But back here in this courthouse, he should go before this judge again in December.
Okay, so let me go back. My goodness. Let me go back. Okay, here it is. Like the video, like the video.
Everywhere choosing Abby.
Like the video. Gotta wait for the commercial to go past.
What did you observe from the man himself, Sean Combs?
Next clip. Like the video. Please, if I get 500, there's almost 600 people in here. If I get 500 people to please subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Press 3 if you're new. Press 5 if you've been here before. Thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for being here. Oh, wow. I missed a lot. I'm sorry, you guys. Let's play the clip.
What were the main takeaways? What happened inside that courtroom? And if you can give us a little flavor of what did you observe from the man himself,
Fair
Sean
use.
Combs?
Yeah, Jesse, it's pretty interesting because I think, we've seen many photos, videos of Sean Combs, aka Diddy, through the Associated Press, through Instagram. And so to see him kind of in person after being in jail for 3 weeks now was pretty interesting to say the least. And I say that by being that you would expect him to feel a little defeated, a little gaunt, anything like that. But it wasn't that case. He appeared confident. He stood tall. But most importantly and most notably, when he walked inside the courtroom, the first thing that he looked at was his family. As soon as he saw his family, he just lit up. Another thing to note, too, is he wasn't shackled, but he was wearing a khaki prison-like jumpsuit when he appeared inside court. And his family appeared on their end, very just happy to see him. Now, I will say, when I was inside the courtroom, I was a little bit towards the back right side of the gallery. And so for seeing Sean Combs, I had to look through a few heads and stuff like that. But again, he appeared just kind of...
Like the video. Yes, it's going to play fast. Thanks for being here, everyone. Yes, I have to stop and play it. That's the way it goes. Let's continue with the video. Thanks for being here. Yeah, the pictures are animated. We said that. The pictures are animated, but it stands true in what she's saying she saw in the courtroom.
confident walking inside that courtroom, and it might have just been the look that his family was there. So let me kind of paint a picture for you as well, too. His mother arrived a little bit before 1 p.m. Eastern time today, and then whenever his children actually came into the courtroom or the courthouse actually kind of got silent. It was pretty interesting to see that as well, too. So as far as who was sitting by who, you had Janice Combs, who sat by Justin, then it was followed by Chance, the twins, Jesse and Delilah, Quincy, and then Christian Combs, aka King. And so again, once they all saw their father, they all smiled at him, waved at him, and even when we were all leaving the courthouse today, Diddy just blew kisses at his mother and his family members. They didn't say much of anything. I wasn't outside when they had first entered the courthouse, so I'm not sure if they said anything to the press. Previously, they had been very quiet whenever they had entered the courtroom, so I assume it'll be kind of like that as well, too. But it was interesting as well that a lot of the arguments kind of based around the data that was recovered and seized from the home. So while a lot of us were kind of expecting there to be arguments about the bail or the bond, that really didn't happen, and the judge ordered that the defendant, Sean Combs, stay inside the MDNC, which we know the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. And so as...
Like the video. If I can get 500 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Yes, this is a cartoon-ish type character, him smiling at his friends and family as they enter in the courtroom. Let's continue with the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. And if you've already subscribed, thank you. Please, if I get 400 people to please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Let's continue and hit the like button. Double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video or below the video. Let's get the likes to 100. They make it easy. You could double tap the screen. You can hit the thumbs up above the video or below the video. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for clearing it up. I thought you said that about to make sure. Thank you for clearing it up. I thought you double tap the screen. Let's get the likes to 100. We're at 18. Let's get the likes to 100. We're at 18. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. We're at 20. Thank you. Let's keep the likes going.
As far as what we know now is that we know May.
We're going to get back to the clip, but I almost want to wait until the likes get to at least 100. But I'm going to continue. Fair use, fair use.
5th is going to be the date, tentatively, that the trial does begin. So we have a lot of stuff that we're expecting to see. But kind of going back to a little bit of the evidence there. Now, I'm looking through this notebook right here, mainly because we're not allowed to have electronic equipment when we're inside that courtroom. So all of this was handwritten notes. So just kind of going over just some of the things that were happening inside that courtroom. You know, I'm sure you've already talked about it there, as far as just all the data that prosecutors and now have in connection to the case. So 96 electronic devices were seized across 3 different locations. That included Diddy's Miami home, his LA mansion, as well as all the devices that were seized whenever he went to the airport. Because as we all remember, when the search warrants were happening, he was actually boarding a flight with his twin daughters, including, and I believe Chance was.
Remember, he was boarding a flight with his twin daughters. So he probably knew that they were going to come at some point. They've been watching him for months. He knew, in regards to him being watched, I want to say it was either December or January. And then he would give his flight information on when he was going to travel. So we understand that he had his mule with him, and that mule had stuff on him, which is concerning. Why would you travel with your daughters and you got a mule that got stuff on you, on them? Normally, if you're in a car and somebody's got something on them, don't everybody go to get locked up? If you're in a house and somebody's got something on them, don't everybody have to go? I mean, I'm surprised that, yeah, it's an animation video. I'm surprised that everybody didn't get in trouble, but I don't think they wanted to arrest him that day. They wanted to wait for the big, because he probably knew even then that he might have to turn himself in. Let's continue with the video. Like the video, like the video. There's 820 people in here. Let's get to 29K. If I can get 800 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification. If you've already subscribed, thank you.
There as well to his 18-year-old daughter now. When they were, the search warrants were happening and Diddy was caught up at the airport, they did seize different devices that time as well too. And so the data mainly still has to be extracted. Now the government was kind of talking about just some of the devices are a little bit older, so the government in turn is kind of catching up to the technology there. But they say at the airport they seized 9 different devices. 7 of those have been extracted so far. At Miami, 36 different devices were seized. 29 were extracted. And in LA, 51 devices were seized. 24 have been extracted. Excuse me. They say that 8 terabytes of data, that information could come about in the next 2 weeks or so, and they're working on the production, another production of the subpoena returns. And so the defense pretty much didn't object to too much inside the courtroom today. Agnifilo also appeared kind of confident during his arguments. I know a lot of people were kind of expecting for the bail or bond argument to be happening, but that didn't happen, and it appeared that the defense kind of, excuse me, I'm trying to find the right word here, but they were pretty much complying with all the prosecution's arguments and plan to kind of have everything all good and set to go by May. Now, by the time the end of the year is to happen, I forgot, like, one big turn right here. They did mention that a potential superseding indictment could come. Now, obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but
the superseding indictment is coming. More charges. They were able to grab his devices, and they're trying to distract it in regards to getting information. So some of the devices are a little bit older and they have to decode and get information from it. So they've got a lot. They grabbed a lot from him that day. I'm wondering if they also took the devices of the mule and his children that day. I'm wondering if they confiscated everybody that was with him when his house got raided and he was traveling with his daughters. I'm wondering if everybody had to give up their devices that day.
The investigation is still ongoing. And so, we don't know a lot of information as far as what that could look like, but it appears that we could expect more charges to come.
Yes, this is a great animation in regards to what happened alleged in the courtroom. I'll probably play this quite a few times if I need to. But yeah, they were saying he was in a tan jumpsuit. This is an animation. Makes it a little bit easier too. But this is what everybody was basically saying. He was blowing kisses at his family.
Later on, potentially by the end of the year.
That is what we've been echoing a lot, that we wouldn't be surprised.
expecting for the bail or bond argument to be happening, but that didn't happen, and it appeared that the defense kind of, I'm trying to find the right word here, but they were pretty much complying with all the prosecution's arguments and planned to kind of have everything all good and set to go by May. Now, by the time the end of the year is to happen, I forgot, like, one big turn right here. They did mention that a potential superseding indictment could come. Now, obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but the investigation is still ongoing, and so, we don't know a lot of information as far as what that could look like, but it appears that we could expect more charges to come later on, potentially by the end of the year.
That is what we've been echoing a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a superseding indictment, and I don't know. I don't think that May date is going to stick if he's hit with additional charges. That's just my guess. Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much. Great reporting, and I hope you got a chance to be in that courtroom and also lay out the scene for us as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right, so now we're going to break it down. I'm joined once again by our general counsel here at Law and Crime, Elizabeth Fulai, but also I am joined by...
Fair use, fair use. We're going to continue to play the clip so everybody knows what's going on. We're going to generally brush over the Kanye Diddy situation. That lawsuit, that young lady filed a lawsuit months ago, and then she added stuff to that lawsuit. So not only is Diddy having concerns, Kanye's having concerns because he had a lawsuit in regards to that young lady a while ago. And what she's stating is concerning. Now, don't forget, Kanye traveled to Turkey, recently? And he's saying he traveled to Turkey to work on his album. Now, I don't know if Turkey has extradition if Kanye runs into an issue. But if you did not know, Kanye was investigating and having his current wife watched by one of his employees. So anytime Kanye's wife would travel, he would probably make the travel arrangements, and then he would have that guy following her just to see if she's safe, if anything's going to happen. Kanye is something else. And then not only was Kanye having his wife travel, he was having that guy investigate what the ins and outs of the Kardashians, the K's and the J's. So Kanye's been in some stuff. Not only does Kanye have this lawsuit going on, he's being sued. I'm wondering, his wife is still with him. I'm wondering how she feels about him having somebody trail her. I'm wondering how the K's and the J's feel about Kanye investigating them. And can he do that? Why aren't they being investigated by somebody else? But here nor there. And is Kim going to allow the kids to see Kanye now that she finds out he's having them investigated? That's going to be a whole issue. And Kim's doing everything she can to utilize North to go viral and trend, to take away from Kanye being sued, Kanye looking into Bianca, Kanye looking into the K's and the J's in regards to if they allege, if the K's and the J's have trafficking issues. But that's up to the feds, not Kanye. But I guess he wants to know because, that's the mother of his children. He want to know if there's some concerns there. If they're working with somebody or if they got some stuff going on. But yeah, that woman filed that lawsuit a while ago. Kanye has like a few lawsuits, but I think Bianca's only mentioned in the one. Hooey, baby. Kanye, Diddy. Who else gonna have a current lawsuit coming their way?
Criminal defense attorney Nima Rahmani. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Happy to have you both here. Nima, I'll start with you. I mean, the idea of a May 2025 trial date, and we talked about it before on the show, that Sean Combs.
Don't forget, please subscribe to the channel. There's 760 in. Please, there's 815 in. If I can get 700 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Let's get the likes up. Double tap the screen to hit the like button, hit the thumbs up above or below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. And if you've already subscribed, thank you. Also, if you're new, press 3 and where you're watching from. If you watched before, press 5 and where you're watching from. Thanks for being here, everyone.
If he thinks he's going to be locked up,
let's continue with the video.
Obviously he wants to go to trial as soon as possible. I get it. He's kind of putting the prosecution's feet to the fire. But you heard Elizabeth, terabytes of data, all this to go through, a production schedule. This really going to happen in May, this trial?
Probably not, but Diddy's lawyers may want to jam up the government if they think there's any chance they're not ready in terms of presenting the electronic evidence or getting their witnesses lined up. It may be part and parcel of the defense's strategy to push this case to trial as quickly as possible. Obviously, we know Combs is in custody, so there's really no...
And I told you they're going to ask for a speedy trial. Now, whether if the other side is ready or not, we don't know at that time.
To wait, we know that the defense case is going to be limited. When Judge Subramanian asked for a time estimate today, the prosecution gave 3 weeks. The defense only gave 1 week, which means that they're going to base this case mostly on cross-examination. So what they probably want to do is push this case as quickly as possible because we know in the Speedy Trial Act, once they waive time or time is excluded, government technically has to get this trial within 70 days.
So let me just follow up on that. If he's hit with a superseding indictment, right, and we don't know what those charges could be, we don't know if there could be multiple defendants, we don't know if they're respect to potentially minors. No, am I crazy to think that there's no way this trial is then going to happen in May?
It's unlikely, especially if it's a superseding indictment involving minors, because minors present
a different type of situationship. So this superseding, they may not be ready in May, but they gave them the date for May, and they did set the trial, and that's what his lawyers were supposed to do, is get a early date. I had said that a month ago, that they're going to ask for a speedy trial. Now, if they're ready in May, great. But if they're not ready, we won't be surprised.
A completely different set of circumstances, because we know through his lawyers, Combs is arguing that the sexual activity happened, but it was consensual. Of course, with sex trafficking, you need one of those three elements: force, fraud, or coercion. Obviously, minors cannot consent to any sexual activity, so that would be a very different defense entirely. The defense would have to be that the activity didn't happen at all, and the individuals are lying. So I think that's going to be a potential game changer if we do get the minors wrapped up into a superseding indictment. And we know, at least if you believe the civil attorneys, there are 25 minor victims, one of which is as young as 9.
I know those suits haven't been filed yet, but that's what Tony Busby, this Texas attorney, has indicated that we should expect to see in these lawsuits. Elizabeth, I want to go to you. So as our other Elizabeth said, there was no indicating nothing about bail, and that's not surprising because that issue of bail has now been appealed to a different court.
Now, the bail issue, I don't know if they're still going to deal with the bail issue sometime this year, or if that's going to be pushed to May. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see regarding that. I don't want to give a date. I'm hearing a date, but I don't want to give that if they're going to try and deal with that situation again. Because I'd like for a few lawyers to tell me that that might be a date for this year, or might just be covered in May.
The Second Circuit Court of Appeals was going over the paperwork from Sean Combs' attorneys. We have two questions about that. Number one, from Simply Sarah on YouTube, his lawyer did file bail paperwork. Yes, this is the second question. This is from Simply Sarah. Simply Sarah had two bail questions. Second one is, was this his last chance for bail? Meaning the paperwork they just filed.
Yeah, so they filed paperwork basically appealing the decision of the two prior judges denying him bail to the Second Circuit. And, technically if they're denied, they do have another higher court, the U.S. Supreme Court, to go to, but I think that's very unlikely. I think this would be the final stop, them appealing to the Second Circuit.
What do you think of his arguments? And let me just lay out what some of these arguments are. So first they say, we have presented a very attractive bail package. We have put $50 million secured by two properties, 24/7 security monitoring from an outside security firm, no access to phone, no access to internet, visitor logs, whatever other conditions you want to put. And they also said in their paperwork.
And people are saying, why should they give him bail if he's going to have the same people around him? You know what I mean? If he's going to have the same people around him, yeah, they talk about the food is the one issue that's the hardest part. Being in jail is probably the hardest part. Being in jail and having a roommate, only getting 3 showers a week, and you only get 1 hour of free time. That's in itself a concern. The allegations, and like I said before, a judge jury will have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Praying for the alleged 120 victims. Allege. These attorneys will have to present information, and we will hear when news reporters are in there. There will be transcripts that people will be reading at a later date. No cameras are allowed in the courtroom, but we will be hearing like a general breakdown. Let's continue with the video. There's 757 people in the room. Can I please get 700 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell? Let's continue to get the likes up. Double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video or below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Let's continue. And if you've already subscribed, thank you.
Sean Combs knew he was under investigation since January. His attorneys immediately reached out to the Southern District of New York, even before there were raids, before there was charges. Was trying to be as cooperative as possible. He surrendered his passport to his attorneys. His family members surrendered their passports. He tried to sell his plane. He came to New York to surrender himself for the charges. And he says that all these allegations that he was reaching out to victims and witnesses, either A, it can't be corroborated, prosecution hasn't presented enough evidence, or B, it was in...
So they're saying that he alleged did or did not try to reach out to people. But they'd have to show proof in regards to if there was voicemails, if there was phone calls. Remember, they had said that there was almost 56 calls, if not more, given to one person to try and change Dawn's, story, or them trying to contact someone to change Dawn's story, who had filed a lawsuit against him like 2 months ago.
From Simply Sarah. Simply Sarah had two bail questions. Second one is, was this his last chance for bail? Meaning the one the paperwork they just filed.
Yeah, so they filed paperwork basically appealing the decision of the two prior judges denying him bail to the Second Circuit. And, technically if they're denied, they do have another higher court, the U.S. Supreme Court, to go to, but I think that's very unlikely. I think this would be the final stop, them appealing to the Second Circuit.
What do you think of his arguments? And let me just lay out what some of these arguments are. So first they say, we have presented a very attractive bail package. We have put $50 million secured by two properties, 24/7 security monitoring from an outside security firm, no access to phone, no access to internet, visitor logs, whatever other conditions you want to put. And they also said in their paperwork, Sean Combs knew he was under investigation since January. His attorneys immediately reached out to the Southern District of New York, even before there were raids, before there was charges. Was trying to be as...
So I told y'all, he knew since January. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like the video, fair use.
Cooperative as possible. He surrendered his passport to his attorneys. His family members surrendered their passports. He tried to sell his plane. He came to New York to surrender himself for the charges, and he says that all these allegations that he was reaching out to victims and witnesses, either A, it can't be corroborated, prosecution hasn't presented enough evidence, or B, it was innocuous conversations. It wasn't something sinister, as the prosecution alleges. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument to make. I understand why they stated that. The former judge that was presiding over this case had said when he denied him the application for bail was there's no guarantee that he won't try to obstruct justice in some way, whether that's removing or tampering with physical evidence, intimidating witnesses possibly, and there could be a strong likelihood of that. What was in the indictment and what a lot of the complaints are based on is a pattern of controlling behavior that he displayed. So you don't know if that behavior could spill over to trying to prevent witnesses from coming forward speaking. And I also think this is a case that's going to rely heavily on physical evidence. The video of Cassandra Ventura being one. It's alleged that he filmed a lot of these activities that are at issue now. So there's always that risk. And if I was the prosecutor, I would be worried about that.
Nima, that's really, really great points.
So there's that, y'all.
It's a shocking fall from grace. In less than a year, P. Diddy went from beloved music icon to disgrace.
Hold on. So let me like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you all for being here. We're going to, let's see. We're going to play this clip briefly. I did find it in regards to Bow Wow speaking up. So since I found it, I want to play it. Thanks for being here, everyone. There's 500 people in the room. If I can please get 500 people to subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Let's get the likes up. Let's go ahead and play this Bow Wow clip.
Never. Just never thought I'd see it like this. Like, nah. He's like the gatekeeper to the game. To the point to where...
Fair use.
What weekend just passed? Like BT Award weekend, it didn't, like the past two, they just didn't feel right. Because there was no motion, there was no parties. There was nowhere to go. Like...
Let's be very specific between parties and freak-offs.
No.
That's right. There's a difference. Hold on. Let me go back.
Well, it's one. I never stayed. I've only been to 2 parties and I've never seen a freak-off.
Yeah, but it shows... And once again, I'm separating it, right? I'm talking about him as the artist, the person, right? How monumental and how important he was to the culture. Because I said, Jermaine, there's no parties. Every year, dude had the fest, and you feel it. It's like a hole. It's like, damn, we ain't going. He was just such a gatekeeper for him.
A gatekeeper. He said it.
In the clubs, he was everything hip hop. You know what I mean? So for that to die out, it's like you just would have never thought. And especially when you look at somebody as like somebody you study, somebody you idolize, somebody who you looked at like, yo, when it comes to hustle, when it comes to business and how to run your shit, it's like he was the guy that every young...
There's almost like 2 parts of him, the businessman and the man that alleged had concerns.
Hustler looked up to and wanted to either be like or wanted to, man, I'm gonna pass this nigga. Like I want to pass this nigga. Like he just step your hustle game up. You know what I mean? So it's sad and it's messed up that, we gotta witness this in this time. But Hollywood is being exposed. He not the only. Some of his business partners, some of his friends are going to go right along with, because they made choices to do almost the same thing he decided. Now, if there's a bigger fish, maybe. But he's having a lot of parties, y'all. And if what's being alleged, the drinks, what's being put in the drinks, what's in the alleged drinks, what's in the alleged baby oil, like I said, judge, jury will have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Welcome, you guys. Please like the video. If I could please get 600 people to subscribe. Thank you. And turn on your notification bell. Let's get the likes up to 100. We're at 43. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's get the likes up to 100. Double tap the screen. Thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're listening to what Bow Wow has to say. We're at 44 likes. Let's get the likes to 100. Thanks for being here, everyone. And thank you if you've already subscribed. And also, we're at 49 likes. If you've been here before, press 3. And where you're watching from, if you've been here, if you're new, press 3. If you've been here before, press 5. And where you're watching from. Let's continue with the clip.
As kids, You gotta sympathize with them too.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Never. Just never thought I'd see it like this. Like, nah. He's like the gatekeeper to the game. To the point to where, what weekend just passed? Like BT Award weekend, it didn't, like the past two, they just didn't feel right. Because there was no motion, there was no...
So we already said that Hollywood's getting exposed. So people that, what they used to do, it's not halting. It has to stop. It needed to stop. So if you guys are bored, at least allege some people are safe. Real talk. Real talk. Let me see if I can find the Nick Cannon situationship. And I'm going to call it a situationship. Nick Cannon should never have been around there anything below 18. And if what he's reporting, he was 16, 17, that in itself is concerning. This Kanye West thing is concerning. That might be the reason why he's in Turkey. That might be the reason why Kanye is in Turkey. Maybe, alleged, maybe he is working on his album. Or maybe he's trying to dodge these alleged lawsuits. Like the video, like the video. Let's see. Like the video. Yeah, and them K's and J's gonna do everything to distract away from what the media is talking about. They would rather have Kanye be talked about than them.
When I was a kid, like 16, 17, standing up.
Like the video. Fair use, fair use. Like the video. Let me see where we're at. Let's get to 29K, you guys. Let's get to 29K. If you've already subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you're new, press 3. And where you're watching from, if you've been here before, press 5. Okay, we're about to listen to Nick Cannon. Fair use, fair use.
When I was a kid, like 16, 17, standing outside.
And this is not a good time for him to be saying that. Because if you don't remember, the 120 alleged victims, some of those are alleged minors. So why is Nick saying that? He was on the Breakfast Club. That's why I said fair use. Copyright disclaimer.
When I was a kid, like 16, 17, standing outside. Come on. Yeah, I live my truth.
Now he's saying he lived his truth. But you know that this man is right now, has a trial set. You speaking out, saying that what age you was at?
Live my truth. I've even been at one when I was a kid, like 16, 17, standing outside.
So there's that clip. It's a very short clip, but Nick Cannon's telling on the diddler. If you did not know, too, this is a concerning thing. If you guys did not know, yesterday it was trending that Tia Kemp said that Rick Ross is wanting to allegedly purchase Diddy's items. Whether that's true or false, Tia Kemp went on Tasha K. I don't know if it was last week or whatever, but that was trending. Some of the clips were played on Neighborhood Talk. For sure, I saw it on Neighborhood Talk and other sites. It's being reported that Tia Kemp's son had an issue where people were putting the pow-pows at his car. So Tia Kemp speaking out against Diddy and the Ross, everybody's going to have a correlation. We're happy the son is allegedly safe, but I think he experienced some injuries. So Tia Kemp going on Tasha K, having an interview, talking about Rick Ross and how he feels about Diddy being arrested. That's a concern that Tia Kemp's son had an issue 3 or 4 days after, well, 2 days after Tia Kemp interview went live with Tasha K. So I think a lot of people are going to be very careful in what they say, because if Tia Kemp's son experienced something, the pow to the pow pows going towards his vehicle, people got to be careful. That's why a lot of people probably aren't speaking. You know, we don't know if Nick Cannon and Bow Wow is going to be told to be quiet. And maybe Nick Cannon's able to speak because he didn't sign an NDA if he went at 16, 17. And maybe he did not go to any more. I don't know. But a lot of famous people are probably silenced because of the NDA. Like the video, like the video. I think it's halted on this side. Let me double check the other side. Press 3 if you're new. Welcome, welcome. There's 1,014 in here. Welcome, welcome. Please, if I can get 900 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. We just played a video in regards to Bow Wow speaking and Nick Cannon speaking. We're about to play this other clip. I thank you guys for being here. I thank you guys for being here. I'll double check this other screen. I don't know if this side is halted or if people are not commenting. Hold on. Press 3 if you're new and where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before. Maybe it's halted on this tablet. Yeah, it must be halted on this tablet, you guys. Sorry, I didn't notice. Thanks for being here, everyone. I see a lot of 3s. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Yeah, I think this tablet, it halted on this side. I don't know why it's frozen. And like I said, a judge jury will have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Hi, Paris. Yeah, I couldn't see it. I'm now seeing it from the other tablet. Yep. Like the video, like the video. There's 704 in. Please like the video. If I can get 700 people to please subscribe, 600 people to please subscribe. The numbers are fluctuating. That's why I keep throwing out different numbers. Super chats are welcome. That's the $ in between in the box. Super chats are welcome. Okay, so we played the Nick Cannon, we played the Bow Wow. We're gonna play this other clip, fair use, fair use. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here. It is going to play fast. The pictures that you're seeing is an animation. We talked about that. This is just an animation.
Sexual predator. According to the charges from the feds. Right now, he's behind bars in New York, the same place where just last year he was given a key to the city. It was a disturbing set of allegations that led to Diddy's arrest in the way of multiple civil suits brought by accusers. And in some of those suits, co-defendants are listed, and in others, celebrities. Could it be a time of reckoning for them too? We're taking a deep dive into all the celebrities listed in Diddy's civil lawsuits and whether they too could face federal charges. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. A groundbreaking case brought forth just this week when 54-year-old Sean Diddy Combs was arrested on September 15th. He now faces some pretty serious federal charges: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by...
Let me know where you guys are watching from. Press 3 if you're new. Press 5 if you've been here before. Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here, everyone. Okay, let's continue with the video. Please, let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video.
Force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Diddy was indicted by a federal grand jury and is now being housed in Brooklyn at the Metropolitan Detention Center after he was twice denied bail. Diddy's attorneys say he was in New York for about a week before the arrest, anticipating the federal indictment. But he wasn't the only one who kind of saw this coming. After federal investigators raided 2 of Diddy's homes back in March, we kind of had an idea something was on the way. Just this week, we learned some of the items that investigators collected during those raids of Diddy's homes in both Miami and Los Angeles. According to the indictment against Diddy, investigators seized more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants from his homes. The court doc states that these items were used in something referred to as freak-offs, which were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. According to prosecutors, Diddy and his associates transported commercial sex workers over state lines and even internationally. Diddy then allegedly gave these sex workers and victims controlled substances, at times unbeknownst to the victims. Prosecutors say Diddy did this to keep the victims obedient and compliant. He then took videos of victims having sex with these sex workers, sometimes without their consent. After all this, both Diddy and the victims would receive IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Federal investigators say that during the raids of Diddy's homes, they collected some of these recordings showing the disturbing details of these freak-offs. And the feds had heads up about these recordings thanks to some of the civil lawsuits filed against Diddy, namely the one brought by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod. Lil Rod worked with Diddy on his Love album starting in 2022 and says he experienced months of abuse all at the hands of Diddy. In his lengthy civil suit, Lil Rod refers to to these recordings, saying, quote, Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones, that's Lil Rod, to record him constantly. Mr. Jones has...
So this is the Little Rod information we were seeking. So thank goodness we found it. There is 500 people in the room. If I can please get 500 people to please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Please, let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Be kind in the comments. People will get timed out. I don't play over here. We like to get to the topics. We like to talk about what's going on. And I like to keep people informed. We go extremely fast over here. We don't take a topic and be going on and on for like 10 minutes. We go extremely fast over here. That's why people are subscribing. Let's continue to hear about what Little Rod had to say.
Secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings.
So if you did not know, Little Rod is another lawsuit, and we had said Little Rod has his own videos, his own tapes, his own recordings. So he may have similar stuff over the last 2-3 years of what they confiscated.
Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity. Lil Rod's lawsuit also lays out some other pretty disturbing claims, like that Diddy sexually assaulted him and forced Lil Rod to have sex with a prostitute. But Lil Rod's lawsuit came out swinging in more ways than one. Not only did it shed light on the dark allegations against Diddy, but it dropped some high-profile celebrity names too. First, there's Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod alleges Diddy was, quote, grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. The lawsuit includes pictures of this too, showing both Diddy with Cuba and then Cuba with his arms around Lil Rod. Court docs go on to say, quote, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, and the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. Here's former prosecutor Melba Pearson.
In the last couple of years, there were allegations against him for sexual assault. So now we have those prior allegations, and now we see him tied to this case as allegedly trying to, assault a little lad, assault others.
Back in 2019, Cuba was booked on misdemeanor charges of forcible touching and sexual abuse after allegedly groping a woman in Times Square. By the next year, 3 women had come forward accusing him of non-consensual sexual touching. He eventually reached a plea deal with prosecutors that required 6 months.
Cuba Gooding has his own issues, and he is a part of some of these lawsuits in regards to what Little Rod had to say. So if you're just not coming in, Little Rod filed a lawsuit, Cassie filed a lawsuit. It was Cassie, then Little Rod. There might have been some in between. But yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. has allegations against him. Alleged. Now, a judge jury will have to find out if there's any wrongdoing. If Little Rod has tapes and recordings of his own, like I told you guys yesterday, Diddy likes to record himself so he doesn't have to repeat himself with people around him.
Of counseling, but no jail time. Just this summer, he appeared...
Hold on. Wait.
Courtroom, and if you can give us a little flavor of what...
Hold on.
Just this summer, he appeared on Dan Abrams' Live, where he discussed those charges.
You pleaded guilty to...
Namely the one brought by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod. Lil Rod worked with Diddy on his Love album starting in 2022 and says he experienced...
Like the video, fair use, fair use.
Diddy. In his lengthy civil suit, Lil Rod refers to these recordings, saying, quote, Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones, that's Lil Rod, to record him constantly. Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity. Lil Rod's lawsuit also lays out some other pretty disturbing claims, like that Diddy sexually assaulted him and forced Lil Rod to have sex with a prostitute. But Lil Rod's lawsuit came out swinging in more ways than one. Not only did it shed light on the dark allegations against Diddy, but it dropped some high-profile celebrity names too. First, there's Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod alleges Diddy was, quote, grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. The lawsuit includes pictures of this too, showing both Diddy with Cuba and then Cuba with his arms around Lil Rod. Court docs go on to say, quote, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones' legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, and the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. Here's former prosecutor Melba Pearson.
In the last couple of years, there were allegations against him for sexual assault. So now we have those prior allegations, and now we see him tied to this case as allegedly trying to, assault a little lad, assault others.
Back in 2019, Cuba was booked on misdemeanor charges of forcible touching and sexual abuse after allegedly groping a woman in Times Square. By the next year, 3 women had come forward accusing him of non-consensual sexual touching. He eventually reached a plea deal with prosecutors that required 6 months of counseling but no jail time. Just this summer, he appeared on Dan Abrams' Live, where he discussed those charges.
You pleaded guilty to a forcible touching misdemeanor in 2022. Eventually led to a guilty plea, a lesser charge.
This is an interview with Cuba Gooding. He has his own situations along with the alleged situationships with Diddy. Like the video. If I could please get 500 people to please subscribe. I do see that you guys are subscribing. Thank you. And please turn on your notification bell. And also, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Thank you for being here, everyone.
A year later, you settled a federal civil lawsuit, 2 more civil misconduct lawsuits. Can you understand why some would say don't want to cast this guy.
Sure, but I can also understand some people who come up to me in the street all the time, yell, show me the money, and say, hang in there. I see what you're going through. You know, you make movies for an audience of people, right? So right now, I'm making a movie for faith-based people who are excited to renew our hope in humanity, especially the times we're dealing with politics in the world, issues that are going on. So that's where I am now.
And have you expressed regret, sorrow, apologies for what happened previously?
Everything that happens in my life is for a reason. I believe that. And if I continue to walk on my path, whatever that is, I know at the end result, it'll be to make me stronger, to be a better person.
So let's see if Cuba Gooding Jr. is a part of these alleged lawsuits. And if so, that's going to be concerning. You know, he's a very well-known actor, and he's given us a lot of great movie roles, but some of these actors and actresses, they have concerns with substances, and sometimes they don't make the best choices when they're on substances. We see a lot of celebrities fall from grace in regards to substances. Sad but true. Sad but true. What was that? Jerry Maguire? Pretty decent movie. And, you know, Cuba Gooding Jr. has had so many different allegations put against him over the last 5 years. Like the video, like the video. We have 600 people in the room. If I get 600 people to please subscribe, thank you. Let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. We're almost there. Next week, I'll probably have to halt the show just to get the likes where they should be. We're at 82. Let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen. They make it easy. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're at 84. Let's get the likes to 100. Thanks for being here. And then thank you if you already subscribed. Press 3 if you're new and where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. We're at 85. We're almost there. Let's get the likes to 100. A lot of people don't even start the show. They start the show 30 minutes later until the likes get there. I continue with my show. We're at 87 likes. Let's get the likes to 100. We're at 87 likes. Thanks for being here, everyone. Getting the likes up actually pushes me out into the algorithm. We're at 87 likes. Double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Hit the like button, hit the like button. We're at 88 likes. Let's get the likes to 100. There's almost 500 people in here, so everyone should be hitting the like. We're at 94 likes. Thank you for being here. We're at 94 likes. Double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Because some people don't know that they can double tap the screen. Some people don't know where the like button is. Some. But, you know, we got to talk to you guys. It pushes me out into the algorithm. Okay, we're at 100 likes. Thank you. Let's continue with the video. Fair use, fair use.
To be a better father, you know, and right now that's the moment I'm in.
Back to Melba. She says it's possible that charges could be brought against the actor.
I am getting the feeling where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Because now we have two different instances where you're accused of the same type of behavior, you know, years apart. I think there's something there, and I don't know that Cuba Gooding Jr. is.
I've turned the volume up.
Already saw definitely people moving away from him within Hollywood circles and other circles once those first sexual assault allegations came out. So at this point, I don't think he's going to get away with it a second time.
Is it possible that he could face charges based on these allegations that were brought forward by Lil Rod?
It is possible as well. Again, we've got the statute of limitations issue to deal with. So depending on the time frame of when this happened, is, you know, again, the Adult Survivors Act, which was the vehicle where many of these lawsuits came out, many of these civil lawsuits, came out, if there was a finite amount of time for those suits to be filed, the time frame is going to be very, very important. When witnesses come forward, because again, you know, this may not be a situation where DNA may be at play. This may be more of a situation of, hey, yes, I was there and I recall, you know, Cuba Gooding Jr. You know, putting his hands on the rod, or I recall certain aspects. So it's going to be a very witness-intensive type of case. And the question is, will the witnesses be?
So the other biggest thing that you got to remember, Little Rod has his own case against Diddy and what he saw, what he experienced. Yeah.
Willing to come forward.
Another high-profile name listed in Lil Rod's lawsuit is Jennifer Lopez.
From the standpoint of the names of the celebrities that were tied to this, the fact that Jennifer Lopez was tied to this back when she was involved in or party to a shooting at a nightclub when she was dating Diddy, and she brought the gun with her to the scene and gave it to Diddy, and that's how the shooting occurred.
Lil Rod's team brings up J-Lo when establishing Diddy's history, writing his quote, Rico Enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to the 1999 nightclub shooting in NYC, when Mr. Combs required his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into the NYC nightclub. The court docs also alleged Diddy forced his then-artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. The shooting happened on December 27, 1999 at about about 2:55 a.m. A fight broke out at a nightclub in New York City between Diddy, Jamal Barrow, who's known as the rapper Shine, and Matthew Allen, who went by the nickname Scar. Guns were drawn and 3 people were shot. No one suffered any life-threatening injuries, and the victims were not involved in the fight. J-Lo and Diddy fled from the scene in a car, but were later arrested and charged. J-Lo's charges were dropped, but...
What do you mean there was not life-threatening? That lady got hit in the face. What? And she's talking about she has no problem letting them retrieve parts of that to have it retested. What? Okay, let's continue. Like the video, like the video.
The others stuck. Diddy was acquitted, but Shine was sentenced to 10 years in
10
prison.
years.
He was released in 2009 and deported back to his home country of Belize. Lil Rod alleges it was Diddy who pulled the trigger, and Shine just took the fall for him. Because of this allegation, experts like former FBI agent Bobby Chacon...
Like the video, like the video.
That you cite, I think, is certainly one of the ones they're looking to build into a much bigger, to me, maybe a RICO type case.
We also know that federal investigators have spoken to other plaintiffs in civil cases against Diddy to learn more about his personality and what he's like in relationships. That means J-Lo is someone the feds will want to talk to if they haven't already. It also means she could be called to testify against him.
It's possible. It's absolutely possible. If I was the prosecutor handling that case, I absolutely would list her, right? But of course, we need to know whether or not she'd be cooperative. That, of course, changes the strategy when it comes to trial. So you may list someone as a potential witness. That does not mean you're necessarily going to call them. The question is whether or not their testimony is really going to help you. But there is a universe where she could testify against him in terms of, violence, in terms of his interactions with other artists, especially the folks that have been coming forward alleging that he has harmed them in some way or engaged in, human trafficking and sex trafficking. So was she aware of any of that going on? Did she see him with underage girls, or was she present for when some of those videos were taken that Lil Rod, included screenshots of those videos in his pleadings? So how much of that did she know? When did she know it? And what actions did she take at the time? Is that part of the reason why they broke up? We don't know. So all of this will remain to be seen. Obviously, the prosecution and law enforcement need to speak with her, get a statement from her, understand what she knows or what she could be able to testify to, and then make appropriate decisions from there.
But it's not just artists that Lil Rod named either. He specifically mentioned Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, in court docs. A reason part, quote, Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties, affiliation with, and...
Yeah, Diddy definitely liked to have a lot of famous people at these parties, at the event, to try and get more people there. And maybe put a word out. Oh, this person is coming, or this person has been here, and maybe they'll be here at another event. He liked to have high-profile people at his events, whether they were inside, outside, I don't know. But he liked to have high-profile people there to get more alleged people there. Real talk. When you hear about the different, we're going to hear more about who was at these events, whether they were outside or whether they were inside.
or sponsorship of Visitor Combs sex trafficking party.
Now, in regards to Prince Harry, Prince William, no one ever said they ever saw anything allegedly. They might have been outside. They might have been invited to, like, a hotel event, or they might have been invited to like a charity event. So nobody is saying, my page is different. I'm not going to put allegations on nobody and say they did anything or they saw anything. A lot of these pages have to be very careful of saying this person's on the tape with Diddy. No, I'm going to let the FBI, the internal investigations, all those people tell us if there's alleged people on the tapes. You got to be careful. So Prince Harry, Prince Williams, all that, I can't confirm or deny if they attended, didn't attend, or what they saw. So, fair use. Let's continue with the video.
Garner legitimacy and access to celebrities, such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British royal Prince Harry. Why even name Prince Harry? There's no allegations against him or anything, but why bring him up?
No allegations against him.
I think it may have been a move to bring more credibility to the filing and say that, basically he being Diddy, was using his fame, fortune, and influence to insulate himself. So he was able to legitimize some of the activities he was doing by having these lavish parties, bringing all these A-list celebrities, but somewhere in a back room or somewhere in another wing, horrible things were happening. So the fact that Prince Harry was there does not necessarily mean he was participating in what was happening. And just because you're at a party doesn't mean you know what's happening in every inch of the house. I mean, if you think about it.
That's true. I said that. Because Diddy had a mansion. What's happening, like the girl in the interview, like I told you before, at the beginning of the video, first 15 minutes, the girl that went to the event, the outside event wasn't the same as the inside event. Like the video. Please let me know where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new. Press 5 if you've been here before. Press 3 if you're new and where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before. Let's continue. So when some of these famous people are saying, I attended the events, I didn't see anything. Maybe because they were outside. The young lady from that interview said, what happened outside was different what happened inside.
If the party's being thrown in a mansion, there are various floors and wings. So it is completely possible that he was there and did not participate. Now, you had said Prince Andrew, especially as a result of the allegations that came out in connection with the Epstein case, that they were close and that they traveled together, and there was a person that alleged that he had sexually assaulted her while she was underage.
that would be a different story. But Prince Harry and the way that it was mentioned seemed to be very, again, just sort of trying to bring legitimacy and talk about these were the people that Diddy surrounded himself by to protect himself.
Prince Harry has no criminal charges or even any accusations of illegal activity, but he could still see the inside of a courtroom in a defamation case.
Allegedly.
That Prince Harry may be able to preserve his reputation. And since it was such a minuscule mention in the greater context of this filing, he may be okay.
Another celebrity mentioned in Lil Rod's lawsuit is Young Miami, who dated Diddy from 2021 to 20.
Okay, we're going to talk about Young Miami. He dated Young Miami, but he also dated his baby mama. He has a younger child with a woman, you know, so he dated them. And then we're finding out that he might have dated an actress that had a role in like a Tubi show or something. So he's being connected to Young Miami. He had a baby by the young lady who the daughter's like 1 or 2. So we're about to listen what they have to say about Young Miami. Please, there's 569 in here. If I can get 500 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Let's continue with the video. Thanks for being here. Fair use.
According to the lawsuit, Young Miami's cousin assaulted Lil Rod during the Thanksgiving holiday in 2022. It reads, quote, Young Miami's cousin burst into the bathroom and began groping Mr. Jones. She started undressing and attempted to straddle him and have sex with him in the presence of Mr. Jones' staff. Similar to Prince Harry, there are no allegations against Young Miami herself, so there's probably no worry of charges being filed against her. But there could be charges against some of the other people listed in Lil Rod's lawsuits. That's people like Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Courtroom, who Lil Rod compares to Ghislaine Max.
So Christina Courtroom is a big part of Diddy's case as well. Christina Courtroom is a big part of Diddy's case as well. Like the video, like the video.
Well, the longtime companion of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein died by suicide in 2019 numerous charges of sexual assault over the course of multiple years. Maxwell was charged and found guilty of sex trafficking in relation to her time with Epstein, and she's currently serving a lengthy prison sentence. Lil Rod says Christina Courtroom ordered sex workers and prostitutes for Mr. Combs and ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms to Mr. Combs and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht in his homes in LA, NYC, and Miami. This is referenced in Diddy's indictment too, saying members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled.
See, I told y'all he had people working for him. He didn't do that stuff by himself. He had people working for him. So who was the one that was alleged spiking the alleged alcohol or drinks or whatever? Who-wee. Like the video, like the video. If I could please get 500 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here. Let me know where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new. Press 5 if you've been here before. Thanks for being here. And if you've already subscribed, thank you.
Substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. Federal prosecutors also allege these associates arranged travel for victims and commercial sex workers, delivered large sums of cash to Diddy to pay these sex workers, and
Dang.
One day after it was filed, but it was still made public, dropping a laundry list of bombshells about Diddy that the public hadn't previously heard. Cassie's lawsuit outlined years of abuse by Diddy, starting when she was just 19 years old, and at the time, he was 37. According to her suit, Diddy was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Cassie savagely. Cassie alleged Diddy forced her to use drugs and would physically beat her, rape her, or force her to have sex with prostitutes. That on at least 2 occasions, Diddy demanded Cassie hold his gun in her purse. The lawsuit goes on to say, quote, there is no clear reason why Mr. Combs required her to hold his guns, except to reinforce to his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous. This echoes a similar allegation made by Lil Rod about Jennifer Lopez.
And to allegedly have your girls carrying stuff for you, having your mule have stuff for you. What? That in itself is concerning. Jeez. Like the video.
1999 New York nightclub shooting.
Not only did Jennifer Lopez allegedly bring the gun to the club, now we're also looking at years later, Cassie coming forward and saying that Diddy forced her to carry a gun with her when they went out to different events. So again, I think that this is more along the lines of when you look at sort of domestic violence lens from the standpoint of the abuser being very controlled.
I just saw your comment. Yeah, these huge parties that he was throwing, it is alleged situationship in regards to getting assistance. Because if you got somebody that you know, girls are coming in, you give them a few minutes, and then you say, here's some white slippers, go inside. Well, what's inside? Then you go inside and see there's a whole different type of situation going on. So that's that in itself. So what other charges could the family deal with? If that young lady's interview is true, like the video. Thanks, Paris.
And demanding certain activities to prove loyalty to, basically put yourself in a bad situation where only he can be the one to save you, basically. So in seeing that the parallels between J-Lo's experience and Cassie's experience, number one, it brings more credibility to what Cassie said.
Yes, the parallel with J-Lo and Cassie. But what about the parallel between Kim Porter and Cassie? R.I.P. to Kim Porter. She's not here to tell her side, nor do we have alleged her tablet, her phone. Now, in the raid, did they find Kim Porter's phone and tablet? Where's the cameras in regards to Kim Porter's house? Who was with her the day before, the day of, during? Where's Kim Porter's stuff? In the raid, did they collect Kim Porter's stuff? I'm wondering. Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Please subscribe to the page. Please subscribe to the page. We go extremely fast. I try and bring you hot topics, trending topics. We talk Diddy, Bow Wow, and Nick Cannon. Now we're talking about the indictment, and we're talking about what Little Rod had to say in regards to the case. Like the video. Thanks for subscribing if you've already subscribed.
Her pleadings, but also again it causes us to look at Jennifer Lopez and be like, some of the comments she made about the end of her relationship to Diddy in terms of, well, there was infidelity, and she kind of skirted the issue a bit, but when you start to look back at her comments, you start to think, ooh, were you in a domestic violence relationship with Diddy, much like how Cassie ended up in a domestic violence relationship with him.
Cassie kind of broke the floodgates, so to speak, when she made her civil.
That's the concern. What did J-Lo experience? Some of the bodyguards are saying he might have treated her somewhat decent because, J-Lo had a staff publicist. She had, is his name Benny Benny? I can't think of his last name. Benny Messina, something, alleged, whatever. J-Lo had people, and J-Lo had her mom, and J-Lo's mom allegedly did not like the diddler. And when Diddy would try and buy, alleged, J-Lo's mom gifts, she did not want them, and she would send them back. Yep. She did not want them, and she sent them back. And alleged there was a time that Diddy just popped up on J-Lo. Hello, I'm here. And just like Wendy Williams said, to date somebody that's well-known, famous, and that has a jet, they can just pop up on you at any time. A lot of people date people that's, same city or 30 to 45 minutes out of. But to date somebody that's rich like that, will J-Lo have to take the stand? Alleged. Will Young Miami have to take the stand? Alleged. Will the baby mama have to take the stand? Will Misa have to take the stand? I don't know if his children, alleged, would have to take. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know what happens in regards to family. You know what I mean? But the friends, the driver, the chefs, the housekeepers, what they had to do, what they had to clean up, what they had to prep stuff up for, the event planners, the cleanup crew. Let's continue. Like the video, like the video. We have 733 people in the room. If I could please get 700 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Thanks for being here, everyone. And if you already subscribed, thank you. Let's continue with the video. Fair use.
Sued back in November. These crazy allegations, we've never heard anything like it before. And then all of a sudden we have several more people coming forward, and then more once it turns to 2024. So we have multiple plaintiffs who are coming forward alleging very similar things. I'm wondering, without these civil suits, would we even be here right now? Would Diddy even have been arrested and indicted?
I really don't think so. Because Cassie's lawsuit opened the floodgates, and I think it empowered other survivors to come.
Cassie's lawsuit helped, and the floodgates were opened. Because it's like, if all this happened with this girl, now it's out there, now there's a lawsuit. If we don't take a look at what she experienced, that don't make people look good, that you keep allowing it for years.
Forward and tell their story, and when Little Rod came forward, I think that was just another huge moment in this case, because now you have male victims coming forward, and we know statistically male victims of sexual assault generally don't report for a number of reasons, but they many times view it as an attack on their masculinity, and they're very concerned about how they would be viewed publicly. And Little Rod was brave, which I really commend his bravery in standing up and saying, listen, this is what happened to me, and that empowered more and more folks to come forward, including most recently Danity Kane, one of the members of Dan.
Yes, correct, Paris. For anybody that wants to send super chats, you can send super chats. Why do I make sure that I look at Paris's comments? One, Paris is a member. If you'd like to become a member, you can. That's why I pay attention to Paris's comments. One, she has a blue dot under her name so I can see what she's saying. She's a member. Memberships are over there. You can become a member. Super chats are welcome. I will try and highlight a super chat and try and see what you're saying. So that's why I'm paying attention to Paris. She's been here with me. She's helped me. And her and I communicate. So that's why you see me commenting on Paris. She's a member and she's sent in super chats. So thanks, Paris. Let me see what you were saying. Hold on, I gotta go back. Yeah, when the video came out, it confirmed what Cassie went through. That's why Diddy's team is mad that the video got leaked. But dude, she was leaving. You should have let her go. You should never have put your hands on her. Real talk. No man, no woman should be, no man should put their hand on a woman. No woman should put their hand on a man, period. He's big mad that the video got leaked because it shows a different side of him of what he wanted to keep quiet. Because dudes in the street was like, no, there's no way. She just wanted to get a bag. There's no way he treated her like that. Then the video hit, and then it changed a lot of people's perspective. She was leaving. Why not let her get in the elevator? Why'd you have to grab her like that? Why'd you have to pull on her like that? Why, when you got into the room, you was throwing stuff at her? They didn't like that it leaked. And they don't want other stuff to leak. But it never should have happened. So who leaked it? We don't know. Who had the tape? We don't know. But alleged CNN leaked it. And a lot of people were surprised that it wasn't TMZ. Well, people sometimes question TMZ. Like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone.
He came stating that he had abused her and she had witnessed the abuse he had levied on others. So I think that all of these voices coming forward and saying, listen, there's something here, the feds took notice. And even though they may not have been public about it at first, we knew, obviously, when they searched the houses, we knew that this was getting very serious, but they were monitoring this the minute that Cassie filed her lawsuit. And when they read those allegations, I can assure you that investigation started immediately. And then as more and more survivors came forward, again, the feds would be going and interviewing each of those people, seeing what evidence they have. So for instance, do they have maybe some cell phone footage, or can they substantiate what occurred to them in other ways, maybe follow text messages, emails? All of these things are aspects that the feds are able to use to now bring in their case in chief against P. Diddy.
Months ago, we reported that Cassie was working with federal investigators in the case against Diddy. We can't know for sure what...
Now, she may have to hit the stand. We won't know. People are wondering if Cassie or Young Miami may have to hit the stand. We'll see. Like the video. We have 500 people in the room. Can I please get 500 people to please subscribe and turn on your notification bell? Let's hit 29K. Thanks for being here, everyone. Let's hit 29K. On average, we're averaging almost 800 to 1,000 people subscribing per day. A few days last week, we had 2,000 people subscribing in one day. Last week, we had 2,000 people subscribe in one day. That was a long day. I think I was live for like 2 hours. But like I said, we cover a lot of information over here. It's not just, we cover just one or two things. We cover a lot. And we cover what's trending. There are law pages that do the legal documents. They do a breakdown of that. They're used to sitting up, looking at those legal documents. So let's continue with the video. Let's see if Cassie or Young Miami stories are parallel. And if any of Kim Porter's information will leak. RIP to Kim Porter. And praying for the victims. And like I said before, a judge jury will have to find out if Diddy has done any wrongdoing.
She testified in the grand jury hearing that would ultimately indict Diddy, but it's likely at least some of his accusers did.
I do believe that a number of the survivors would have testified. I don't think that they would have brought all of them because of the fact that, number one, you want to testify is traumatizing, especially when you're talking about the most awful day likely of your life and some very degrading things that happen to you, and you have to tell that to a bunch of people you don't know. So you have to be very cautious in when and how you bring your victims, your survivors to testify, and think about that in terms of your strategy. Because again, you may want to save some of the survivors for the actual trial if this does go to trial, and maybe just pick one or two that make the point, right? And then you can fill it in with more evidence as the trial proceeds. But you don't necessarily have to show all of your evidence to the grand jury. You just pick the strongest pieces of evidence so that, again, you're not burning your survivors out before they get to the point of trial unnecessarily.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who's a part of the grand jury? Who's been subpoenaed?
Obviously, they do have to testify and tell their story so that the jury has something to deliberate on. But at the same token, you don't want to push them too much because, again, that trauma is very real. And even if they are getting
that trauma is very real.
Assistance through counseling or something along those lines, it's still a lot to have to talk about it, especially in such a huge media frenzy around it, and so many people weighing in, and whether it be social media or other celebrities or things like that. So those are some of the things I think the assistant U.S. attorney would have been considering when deciding who should be brought in front of the grand jury to testify.
And when it comes time for trial, we could expect to hear from Cassie or other accusers in federal courts. You're bringing up a really good point because, as you said, this is probably one of the darkest times of these survivors' lives, and they have to come forward with these serious allegations and relive the trauma that I'm sure they've been working to overcome. It's really tough, but we're assuming that a lot of them are going to testify at the trial, whenever that may be, and there are several accusers that have to go through and do all of that. What would it look like at the trial then?
At the trial, now the key is the U.S. Attorney's Office has to make sure that they're not going too far afield with bad character evidence. We saw how that kind of backfired in the Harvey Weinstein case, where, as well as Bill Cosby case, where other instances were brought in that were maybe not as close in time, or more so not really enlightening the jury about what happened in the charges that were in the indictment, but more so he's just a really bad, horrible, predatory person. That may be the truth. However, when it comes to proving the charges at hand, you have to be very focused on making sure the jury understands what happened during the time frames that are specified in the indictment. And so if some of these other survivors, let's say something happened 10 years ago, that might be too far in time for them to be able to testify. But if we're talking about an instance of something that happened last year, for instance, that might be closer in time to allow them to be able to testify. And again, if they have specific knowledge about certain aspects of the indictment, of course they'll be brought to testify. But again, you have to be very cautious because you want to be able to preserve, if you're able to get a conviction, you want to be able to preserve it on appeal by not making these types of errors.
After his indictment this week, Diddy pleaded not guilty to all.
He did plead not guilty. He's happy that he has a May 2025 court date, trial date set. But we'll definitely see what's going to happen, what's going to transpire. His lawyers added more lawyers to the case. What did his mom see? What did his children see? What did they experience? Did he have a team of people working for him through these events? Did his assistant manager or publicist handle all this stuff? We'll see. We shall see. So I thank everyone for being here. Like the video. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you all subscribing. Most likely I'll go live sometime tomorrow. I don't know. I'll probably go live in the morning. I'll probably then go live in the evening, maybe. We briefly covered the Kanye Diddy situation. The young lady spoke about some of the concerning things Kanye was saying to her. If she had something put into her drink. So if Kanye has done any wrongdoing and being sued, some of his friends might be catching cases similar. Not an indictment, but there's lawsuits out there. So his friends need to be careful, for sure. So I thank you all for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being here, Paris. I'm going to get some rest, everyone. But I appreciate you all for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check on your friends. Let me do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Like, comment, and subscribe. And everyone, have a great, great Sunday. Enjoy your time with your friends, family. Goodbye.